Hi guys, welcome back to Granya's Home and Kitchen. So today I'm going to make a no-bake chocolate biscuit cake. My mum made this for us when we were children, and she actually used like baker's chocolate or cooking chocolate and Marietta biscuits. Here they're called either Marie biscuits or Maria biscuits, and this is absolutely delicious. It's something you could actually do with your children as well. And I made it last week for my kids and they devoured it, literally. They absolutely loved it. So I do put a little twist on it, so I'm just going to show you now what you're going to need to make the cake. First up, you're going to need a pan. Now I don't know the exact measurements of this. What would it be, like 12 by maybe 8, but it can be square. Just a pan around this size. It's perfect size for the ingredients I'm going to give you today. And I lined it with cling film, or what do we call it here, saran wrap, so that when you take it out of the fridge you can slice it into squares and then you can keep it in a Ziploc bag. I use a Ziploc bag to crush up my cookies and my biscuits, because if you put them in a blender they might just get too breadcrumby like, and it's nice to have nice chunks in it. And this is just an old rolling pin. I've had this for years, and a tea towel, so you're not bashing up your counter. And then you're going to need, I use milk chocolate chips. You don't have to use milk chocolate, you can use semi-sweet, or you can use the baker's cooking chocolate. And like I say, the biscuits, so these are Maria biscuits, at home Marietta, and I think in other stores they're called Marie biscuits. And I use some butter, so I make a slightly different version to my mum. I make it just a very slight ganache, which makes it easier for you to cut. So I add a little bit of butter and a little bit of cream. You don't have to do that, you can make it straight with chocolate if you like. It's just easier to cut if you make a very slight ganache. So I'm going to use 1.5 packs of biscuits for this. So each of these packs weigh 200 grams, so you're going to be using 300 grams of biscuits or cookies. And I'm going to put 1.5 packs of the biscuits in there. Oops. So you can judge it, you don't have to be. Okay, so about 1.5 bags. So I'm going to get 2 cups of chocolate chips. I'm going to put them in the bowl. And then I'm going to take, I'm not sure what the measurement is, but I'm going to show you. I'm literally going to take the smallest slice of butter that I can. Okay, so I'm going to literally, as we'd say at home, take a sliver of butter. So you can see I'm just taking a very, well, like you want it to be a slice of butter. So guys, I don't know how much that is, but it's a very, very thin slice of butter. I'm going to pop that into my chocolate. Now guys, I have told you before, when you're melting chocolate in the microwave, always put it to half power, so power 5. And that way you have a less chance of burning it, and also the butter will help it not to burn as well. So if you're having a rough day and you want to take your aggression out on something, make this cake, because you're just going to mash up the cookies. Yeah, that should be fine. So you can see there, you know, they're big enough chunks, and that's what you want. Okay, now I did this for a minute, so I'm just going to stir it and see. Yeah, okay, so I'll probably put it in for about maybe another 30 seconds. Okay, so let's try it now. Okay, so that's perfect. Now sometimes when you take it out, when you've put the butter in it, it's much more dense than this, but don't panic. You just have to add some cream to it to bring it back. But this one actually turned out fine. The last one I made, I probably put it in for a little bit too long, and it was kind of like, what would even thicker than a peanut butter. This is more like a peanut butter, but it was thicker than this and heavier. And you may think, oh gosh, I've ruined it, but you haven't. It's just basically the milk solids splitting, and you just need to work it to get it back together. So now to this, I'm just going to add a little bit of cream. I have about 50 ml of whipping cream in here, so I'm going to start with about half of that. And what you want it to look like is very, very shiny. So it will change colour and it will get very, very shiny. So this is what makes a ganache. And it just, as I say now, you can see what's happening there. Remember I had said the consistency might be different when it comes out of the oven. This is exactly what I was talking about. I hope you can see it there. It's completely changed the consistency by adding the cream. And that's the start of the ganache. Sometimes you'll see liquid come out of it, and it looks like oil almost. That doesn't mean it's ruined. So this, actually, I'm delighted now that this happened, because this is exactly what I mean. Now, you're just going to keep adding, we'll probably use more than 50 ml of cream actually. So we're just going to keep adding little bits of cream until we bring it back. And I'll show you exactly the consistency we'll be looking for. You use a ganache usually to decorate the outside of a cake. And the reason you don't put just solid chocolate on the outside of a cake is that it would be just too hard to cut, especially if you had it in the fridge. So you can see what I'm saying there. It's almost like it's curdling, but that's exactly what you want it to be doing. Now I'm going to add some more cream. This probably isn't the best spoon, guys. I need to pick up better utensils. Sorry for the noise there. So I'm just going to mix that through again. Now just keep stirring it. See, it looks like some people, when I first started to do this, I actually threw this out. I thought I had ruined it, but that is actually the process. So I'm just going to keep mixing that and see if I do need to add more cream. I may need to. Actually, I should put this on the tea towel, shouldn't I? So it's not making so much noise. Okay, so now, I am going to have to need more cream. So it's hard to tell you exactly how much you need. You'll see the consistency that you need to reach. And I guess it differs all the time. It just depends on how much chocolate you have in there. Stirring it again. Another little bit of cream. See there, guys, it's starting to get shiny, but it looks like it's curdled. Just keep stirring and it will all come back together. Now if you can see how shiny that is. Much different consistency. Okay, so that's your ganache. Okay guys, I put it back in the microwave for about 20 seconds just to make it a little bit softer. And now we're just going to take our cookie and we'll fold it down. And we're just going to fold it into the ganache. Okay, so now we're going to put this into the cake, into the tin. So now we're going to take some more chocolate. I'm going to do another 2 cups. I'm going to take another little sliver of butter. Pop it in the chocolate. Okay, take it out after a minute and give it a stir. And then back in the microwave again, power level 5 for 30 more seconds. Now we're not going to add cream to this, we've just added the butter, but the butter will help it to be a little bit easier to cut. So just mix it through to make sure all the chocolate is melted. And then we're just going to pour this over our biscuit cake. Now, like I say, guys, if you would want to just put the whole 4 cups in with the biscuits and have your biscuits coated more, you can do that. We just like it this way. We're chocoholics in this house, by the way. Okay. Just spread your chocolate over. And you just need to cut these into small squares because they are quite filling. Okay guys, so now you're going to put it in the fridge for a couple of hours until the chocolate sets, and then I'm going to come back and show it to you, and we're going to cut it into squares. How simple is that? Okay guys, so I just went and did some shopping and I came back, and now let's look at our biscuit cake. So I did cover it with this just so, you know the way the fridge, sometimes I didn't want smells of other things getting on it. So now we're going to take it out of here and I'm going to cut it into slices. Get a nice sharp knife for this, guys. Okay, so it's quite filling, but you can cut them as big or small as you want. Okay. Okay guys, so there is your chocolate biscuit cake, and you will get some crumbs, but don't worry, somebody will eat them. So guys, how simple is that? I hope you enjoyed it, guys, and if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, you know how much I'd appreciate it, and if you could subscribe to my channel, that would be amazing.